Well, good evening, everyone. This is the famous Monday night Rick Murphy call, but Rick's not here. I think, at this very moment is having dinner with Kurt Foley down in Irvine, California. And he's been talking to quite a few of us lately. Kurt was on a call with a bunch of platinums and above just this morning, just kind of laying out the vision. And anyway, Dennis, it's kind of an exciting time to be in NECAN. Everything is going to be just really, really, really exciting. And I would say if you ever thought about running, this is a good time to run. Also, July, not only as an Independence Day and Freedom Day, it really was for me, because that was the month that I found NECAN. And when that happened, everything changed in my life. And so 26 years ago, in just a couple of days, it's going to be my anniversary.
Awesome.
And I believe your anniversary is November, isn't it?
December 9th.
Oh, okay.
Yep, December 9th, we signed the application in 1991.
That's quite a Christmas present you gave yourself.
That was for Ruth and I, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, maybe turn up your volume just a little bit. I think you sound just a little bit softer, or maybe it's mine is down a little bit.
That could be, because I don't have any control over the volume here.
Okay, that was mine. How about that?
Okay.
Anybody else, you can adjust your volume too, because you definitely want to hear DennisWilliams. I think one of the great landmark points in NECAN was when you came up with a PowerPoint, and perhaps you've sponsored more people than anyone else via those videos and different things like that. Just a really compelling thing. And I understand you got something new for us tonight, and I'm just looking forward to seeing some powerful ideas from my friend DennisWilliams. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dave. I'll get to share my screen here, and let me find the presentation I'm going to be using. Okay. Well, that's not it.
It said it started sharing screen, so I think we're close.
Okay. Maybe it's just taking a little bit.
So while we're waiting for this, oh boy, I see that's beautiful.
You see it now?
I do.
There. I think we got it. There we go. That's what I was trying to find. Can you see that? So it's not what you do, it's what you start.
I'd say it's both of those.
That's right. You got to do something to make something start. There's no question about it. But anyway, just something that I know you and I have talked about this in the past, and so forth. And I'll just kind of start out, know the business that you're in. One of my friends went down to the Seattle Mariners training down in Arizona in springtime. And you saw these professional athletes that make millions of dollars, and they were working on the fundamentals of their trade. And as he watched him, he thought, these guys get paid for hitting the ball. If they hit it a third of the time, they're a superstar. And they get paid for catching the ball, and get paid for throwing the ball. And, and the better they are at those three fundamentals, the more valuable they are, and the more money they make. And it's kind of like in our business, it's about three things too, three fundamentals. Finding people to talk to, which is prospecting, and then talking to people that you find, which is presentation, and then teaching everyone to do the same thing, which is duplication. And so this is what it's all about. And the better you are at those three fundamentals, the more successful you'll become, and the the more valuable that you will be to everybody around you and your organization and everything. And this is what the key point is about when I'm sharing tonight, is you don't need to sponsor the world. The top income earners in any network marketing company typically generate probably 80 to 90% of their income from 1 to 4 people. I know that's true with us. That's true with you, Dave. That's true with almost everybody that I know, no matter what business they're in, what company they're with. It's the same. So actually who you recruit is actually more important than how many. A lot of people have sponsored a lot of people and maybe haven't really gotten any place. And I'll share something after this is over with that as to why that may be. So our job is to find these people and get them started. So that's why I'm saying, get someone started. And that's our job, is to find those people and get something started. Because we're looking for people who are looking for us. And there are a lot of people out there that really need what we have to offer. And there's no question about that. And then understand the rules. Regardless of how you present your business, some people decide to join. And the saying is, some will. And then some people decide not to join. Some won't. And some people decide not to decide. So what? And there's a little SW's to the sixth power is something I've kind of got tattooed on the inside of my forehead. It's some will, some won't. So what? Stop whining, start working. Someone's waiting. And, and that's so true. And so get better at the game. Everything in life is about who you become. And we need to develop an unshakable belief in our products. And that's an easy one for most people to do. These products are so life-changing, and the demonstrations that we do within an instant, you can see that there's something positive going on. There's so many tremendous testimonies with all the different technologies that we have. There's no question about the value of these products, and no company in the world has products that make such a tremendous impact as Nikan products do on people's health. And I have an unshakable belief in this company. This company's been around for over 40 years, as solid as a rock. And when you come to San Antonio in the fall, you're going to just be blown away at real game-changing announcements that are going to be made. It's going to make us even your belief in this company even stronger. And we'll have an unshakable belief in network marketing. And sometimes that's hard for people sometimes, but learn about it. Become a student of network marketing. Find out really what it is and what it's not. And a lot of the people we're talking to, they're misinformed or uninformed. And really get that unshakable belief in this industry, because it's the better way. It's the most phenomenal way to create income that there ever was invented. And then this is the toughest one for a lot of people. Get an unshakable belief in yourself, and listen to good CDs. I know, Dave, you've talked about that a lot. Who you become is based on the books that you read, the CDs and the DVDs you watch and listen to, and the people you associate with. So you get that unshakable belief in yourself. And we truly are offering a gift. We're not begging a favor. And that's what's so exciting about Nikan. It's really kind of impossible to get rejected, because how can you be rejected if you're offering a gift? So it's like one time Ruth and I were in a coffee shop, and the waitress came around with a coffee pot and says, "You want some coffee?" And I said, "No, thank you. I'm not a coffee drinker." Well, she didn't go crying her eyes out in the washroom because we didn't want anything. She just said, "Okay, fine," and went on to looking for somebody that did want it. And that's kind of how we've always thought about our Nikan business, is we're just have a tremendous gift here that we know the value of, and we're offering it to other people, and hopefully they'll see value and will want to either become a customer or a consultant along with us. Here's some questions for top leaders, and when you're in San Antonio and so forth, and you meet some of the top leaders, ask these questions. How are you introduced to the business? And it could be anything. It could be an audio tape, like it was for Ruth and I. It could be a CD, and when the audio tape was me listening to you, Dave, on the way home on a December day in 1991. And as soon as I got home, I called you up, and that started a conversation where you came and met with Ruth and I. And like you gave us another audio cassette that I shared with my sister, and then that led to her getting results and so forth. And all of a sudden, we were in. So that's how we were introduced, with an audio tape, CD, DVD, event. And especially if you ask those leaders, which one was it? It could be anything. It could be anything. So I know Chuck Branham used to say you could send out a blind dog with a note in his mouth, and he'd probably find a leader somewhere, because it's just getting it out there. Okay, let the tools do the work. And then how would you describe the skill set of the person who sponsored you? That's another good question to ask top leaders. And you'll hear everything from terrific to tolerable to terrible. And to be honest with you, our sponsor was terrible. We didn't even want him to help us, but we're grateful that he did persist for 6 months and come back and shared Nikan with us. And so, Ruth and I have never looked at ourselves as somebody's downline. We always looked at ourselves as an upline, because we don't get paid on anybody above us. It's just on our team below us. So that's how we've always felt. And then once you saw it, another question, once you saw it, How long did it take you to decide to do it? And for us, it was immediately after we finally really realized what it was. It took us 6 months to see it, but once we saw it, it was immediate that we took off. Jim Rohn has a story on one of my favorite CDs about network marketing. He talks about activity mattering the most. And he said in the beginning, he could only sponsor 1 out of 10. But if he was in a contest with somebody that could sponsor, 9 out of 10, Jim Rohn would probably win if it was a contest for a month. Because he said the other guy would probably talk to 10 people and sponsor 9 of them and figured that he'd won the contest. Well, Jim Rohn, since he could only sponsor 1 out of 10, he would talk to 100 and sponsor, 10, and he would win. And then after a while, he got better. He could sponsor 3 out of 10. And he actually used to call people up and say, when I share what I have to offer here in my business, for every 10 people I share this with, 3 of them join. I want you to come over tonight and be one of the other 7. That was just something that he said. He was so confident in what he was doing. And here's another story by a legend in network marketing, Mark Yarnell. And when he joined his business, his sponsor told him he had to overcome 4 things that were going to happen to him, and they're going to happen to all of us, and they probably already have. They have for us for sure. And here's what they were. He invited 270 people to his first meeting. 50 said they would attend. Well, the first thing he had to overcome was rejection, because 220 people said they didn't even want to hear about it. They didn't want to even hear about it and then make a decision as to whether they're interested or not. And you're going to run into that. You're going to run into people you're going to invite to sit down and listen to you, and they say that no, they don't want to hear about it. So that was the first thing, was rejection. And out of the 50 that said they would attend, only 20 of them showed up. That was the second thing he had to overcome, was deception. People lie. I mean, there's 30 people that said they're going to be there and they didn't show up. That happens. That has happened. And that's another thing he had to overcome, was deception. Of the 20 that saw the presentation, only 12 of them joined. Third thing he had to overcome was apathy. People are content to be where they are and just keep doing what they've been doing. That they just don't have enough gumption or vision or whatever it takes to take action. That's the other thing. So he had to overcome apathy. And then the last thing was, out of the 12 that joined, believe it or not, 11 of them eventually quit. So that was the fourth thing, was attrition. People drop out. They drop out of church. They drop out of Boy Scouts. They drop out of life. They drop out of network marketing. But one of those that he got started earned him $50,000 a month. So the interesting thing is, everybody has a ratio. And sometimes when I'm doing a live presentation, I'll say, hey, what if you knew what the ratio was? His was 1 out of 270. But what if yours was 1 out of 360? And over here, yours was 1 out of 410. And you knew that, man, you'd be going down that list just checking them off, because you know that you're going to find your one that's going to be your superstar, because everybody's got a ratio. So there they are: rejection, deception, apathy, and attrition. It happens to all of us. That's just part of the deal. But we have the right attitude, and we have the vision, and we have the belief, and all those things we're talking about. We know what we have to offer, and we just keep on going. We found and started Vince and Mary Spader in South Dakota. Our first year, we didn't have any silvers at all. But we found this couple, and we found this couple on the same weekend in 1992 in October. And Vince and Mary made silver in December, and Denny and Shar made silver in February. And because of those 2 couples, we put out a newsletter. We didn't even have internet back in those days. We put out a newsletter and said, look at these 2 brand new couples. They just joined, and their silver's already in just, back then it was 40,000 over 2 months. And they did it, both of them. And then it just was like a catalyst for our business. And it was like Roger Bannister, before you broke the 4-minute mile, everybody thought your heart would blow out through your chest wall if you ran a mile less than 4 minutes. But after he did it, I think the next year over 50 people did it, because it was not impossible anymore. That's kind of how our business was. It wasn't impossible anymore after these 2 couples did what they did. And so the next month, after Jenny and Shar made silver, we had 12 silvers on a recap that generated $248,000 in volume. And that's just what happened. All of a sudden, a light went on for all those people. We found Clyde and Karen Eastwood, who now, they were our good friends and neighbors in Akron. They've moved to Utah now. Mary Burke Dean heads up a diamond group here in Washington State. And another one, Carrie Percy, heads up a diamond group and lives in Utah. And that group includes Chuck and Claudia Branham and so forth. And so anyway, the point is, the above 5 organizations generate about 90% of our business. And that's just how it is, though. And then here's a formula by Michael Klaus that is kind of a neat little formula. It's called the Clausian formula. And what it is success is achieved when you add together a burning desire, written goals, and consistent activity, and then multiply that mixture with self-improvement squared. And that is so true, isn't it? A burning desire, you got to have that. Write down some goals, consistent activity, and then self-improvement squared, always working on that to become better at what you do. And then here's some time and money scenarios that I think about every once in a while. There are people you're going to run into that have lots of money. They don't have any time. And they have time to buy the toys, but maybe no time to play with them. And nobody would think that would be the ideal lifestyle to have. And then there are people that have lots of time but no money. And they're probably living under a bridge somewhere, so you wouldn't want to have that lifestyle as well. And then there are people, believe it or not, the majority of the people that have an objection, this is their objection. They don't have any time or money. Well, my gosh, a good question for them might be, how long do you want to stay like that? That would not be a good position to be in, but that's how so many people feel, and they really need what we have, don't they? Because we want, the best way to live is to have time and money. Have time and money together. And I've often said my definition of freedom is to be able to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it, help whoever you want to help, and never have to ask yourself, do I have the time or the money? And then we're looking for people who want better health, right? Who want more money and who want more free time. And actually, I've never had anybody, I doubt if you ever have either, had anybody tell you, Dennis, I want worse health, less money, and no free time at all. Nobody's ever told me that. So if people were honest, everybody really wants what we have to offer, don't they? So total freedom is when you have time and money together. So get someone started today. That's what we're talking about. I just want to share a couple things with you, then turn it over to Dave a little bit. I've been reading a book recently written by an attorney, and it's called Recruiting Up. And it's a very interesting book. I just kind of started in it, but I just want to share a few things in the beginning that kind of go along with what we're talking about here. And he says, we all know a random assortment of people. I think we'd all agree with that. And we don't want to prejudge anyone because anyone can be successful in network marketing, but some people have more potential than others. And we should focus on recruiting them, the ones with more potential. And for example, if you recruit the busboy in a restaurant, he can probably recruit the other busboys, but he may have a little bit of difficulty in recruiting the waiters, the cashiers, and the managers. But if you recruit the owner of the restaurant, he can probably recruit the managers, the cashiers, the waiters, and the busboys. And he's the boss, and they look up to him. And when he approaches them, they listen. And the busboy may also be able to recruit those people, but the odds are that the owner can do it more quickly and with less effort. And then the owner, if you think about this, can also recruit the vendors who sell products to him, the produce, the meat, and the baked goods to the restaurant. And he can also recruit his insurance broker, the CPA, his lawyer, the owner of the building. And he can recruit other restaurant owners and other business owners and professionals in his networking events. And so, and it all boils down to something that I've never really thought about before, but it's laid out pretty simple. It's called the scale of influence. And this is kind of interesting. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest in terms of influence, each of us is a 5 in our world of contacts. People who look up to us are ones and 4s. And the people that we look up to are 6s and 10s. And our peers are also 5s. And he urged us to, what we need to do is kind of recruit up the scale. Recruit the sharpest, most successful, most influential people you know. If you want your business to grow quickly, recruit your 6, 7s, 8, 9s, and 10s. So most people in network marketing recruit the low-hanging fruit, meaning they're 1s to 5s. For example, if your younger brother, he looks up to you, so maybe he's a 4 to you. So if you recruit him, well, he will recruit people who are your 3s, and your 3s will recruit your 2s, and your 2s will recruit your 1s, and the 1s will approach people who are unlikely to influence anyone. And so, that's that if you recruit up, on the other hand, and you teach your team to do the same thing, you'll recruit your 6s and 7s, and they will recruit people who are your 8, 9s, and 10s. And your organization will be filled with talented people who recruit other talented people. So most people recruit their broke friends and family. They approach people they think will be the easiest to recruit. They start at the bottom of the scale, intending to work their way up to and their top 10 is their chicken list. And they tell themselves they'll approach these people and have more experience and confidence. But unfortunately, most people never get around to approaching their chicken list. And so we all have a choice. We can recruit people who would be happy to earn an extra $300 a month, or we can recruit influential, talented, motivated professionals who want to earn $30,000 a month and have the talent and the context to make that happen. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't recruit anyone else, because some of the biggest success stories in network marketing come from humble beginnings. And you all heard Dave and Valerie's story, and Ruth and I, we were pretty much not very well off either, working the straight commission job 7 days a week and so forth. So go ahead and recruit anyone. But it might not be a bad idea to focus on recruiting up until you're 6, 7, 8, 9s, and 10s. So anyway, interesting book, and it makes some good points. And I'm going to take some of the things in there and put them to use myself. So Dave, what do you think about that? And anything else you want to talk about?
Oh boy, you got a lot of wisdom there, Dennis. Just talking about who you want to talk to. My experience has been that if you talk to people you're comfortable with, that means probably other people are comfortable with them as well. And those people, a lot of times, they don't have a good self-image themselves. Everybody's thought of them. And so you call them, and if they're thinking in their mind, well, I'm not really that much, and you're calling them about an opportunity, often they'll think, well, it must not be any good, or else why would they be calling me? Because of perception. And so they'll respond by, what are you trying to sell? What is this all about? Because they have low expectations, and they kind of think that is the way the world's set up, is using people. However, the sharp people, they have a good self-image, and so you talk to them, and in their mind, when you talk about opportunity and getting together in business and things, just automatically, if they have a good self-image, then they're going to be thinking, I must be pretty good. That's why they're talking to me. And also, very few people have talked to them before, so you're not going through a lot of muddy water. And so I think that's a great idea. The qualities that I think that I've always expressed is make a list and check it twice, find out who's ambitious and nice
There
and
you go.
hungry. Those are the qualities. And when I say ambitious, they got some gumption. I think that's just something that a lot of times people don't have. And so you look for people that are looking, that are ambitious, but also they're still hungry. And you know what the statistics are is about 80% of people really don't like their job. They don't get a lot of satisfaction. And every day it seems like the regular route, corporate America or whatever we want to call it, is becoming less and less appealing. And it just is becoming more difficult. Also, another interesting 80% statistic is that fully 80% of college graduates never work in the area of their degree. So that's got to be a little bit of frustration there too. And so I really I'm excited about these circumstances, because it gives us a lot of people that are hungry and looking, and so it really is a good opportunity. When you were talking about all of these different people and the numbers that Mark Yarnell was going through, in my mind I was thinking about the parable of the sower. The seed was good, but where he put the seed, the stony ground or the scorched ground where it didn't get root and the sun got it and the birds came and all of these different things. All the time the seed was good, but where did it land? And so plant lots of seed. Get out there.
That's right. That's right. It's people are looking, and as whenever Ruth and I find somebody that's that gets it, that sees it and is excited about it, and we ask them, have you ever heard of? Are you familiar with Nikan? And they'd never heard of it before. And that's one of the most exciting things that I can have somebody tell me, is they've never heard of it before. Because then I look at them and I say, you know what that means? That means every single person that you know or has ever known you apparently has never heard of this either. Because I guarantee you, if they knew what Ruth and I know, they would have told you already. Isn't that something to think about?
Oh,
They would
that's
tell you
amazing.
already.
Yeah, I think about the market that we're in, these type of products. It's for practical purposes, it's an infinite opportunity. The millions of people out there, when they look at this as far as being a customer or doing this as a business, this is the business to be in. Health, that's the biggie. And with the baby boomers getting older, I just kind of think in my mind, whoever you are, whatever town you live in, if you go downtown, you're probably going to see a crane next to the hospital as they're moving it out. You'll probably see a new dialysis center opening up. All of this crisis intervention. But at the same time, there's gyms going up too, and assisted living. But also, there's a lot of people that are thinking, my goodness, I need to get serious with my health. I don't want to just kind of drift along and follow those statistics where you can actively be involved. And so they figure age 80 is about where health costs peak. Also, that's about where preventative expenses and markets are. People that are about 80 years old, around in there, that's where they spend the most on anti-aging. And so that's kind of an exciting thought to think about. And as a group, the baby boomers actually have a very high percentage of people that are having to reevaluate their retirement and different things like that, and looking at maybe even just doing something to stay busy. One of the greatest indicators of a long, happy, productive life is just being anxiously engaged in a worthy cause. Having an ideal to work towards. And so NECAN, it's definitely my encore career. I'm going to do it again. How about you, Dennis?
That's right. Absolutely. I can't imagine anything more fun, more enjoyable, and more rewarding than what we've been doing for the last coming up on 25 years. And it's more exciting than ever, and especially after this fall, it's really going to be something to share.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Thinking about San Antonio, I was thinking about that the other day, and I thought, people are going to be sending the government money to pay their taxes. They might as well let the government pay for their business trip to San Antonio. Don't you think, Dave?
I think that's a great thing. I've often thought about just the reality that there's literally two different IRSs, two completely different tax codes, and one is for employees, and the other is for business owners. And even the government realizes that before they can take money from us, they got to allow us to earn it. And so there's huge incentives for starting a business, which is the backbone of America, is small businesses. And so there's a lot of incentive to start and produce a productive business. And it's fun. It's amazing. Pretty much all of the activities that you do in NECAN are business expenses. And the funniest thing, I've had traditional business, and I've enjoyed a lot of expenses to write off. But in NECAN, everything about NECAN, it doesn't really feel like a business and working per se. It's more just going out and having fun. I'd say doing NECAN is like play. It's a hobby that just happens to have really good financial rewards. It's just it's amazing. People say, "Are you retired?" And I just can't help but think, retired from what?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the way we feel too. Yeah, that's the way we feel too. And and the people that are thinking about San Antonio, I mean, you think about your airline tickets, your hotel, your food you buy down there, your meals, everything is a write-off of tickets to the event, because that's your business, and that could overset the cost of going there from your taxes. You don't want to miss that event coming up in San Antonio. You definitely want to.
I would say also, when you started out, you said, give people information, and you want to be generous in tools, and mostly what it is just becoming friends with people, and then sharing a story that could change their whole life, and that can be through a CD or sending them a link to to a YouTube or inviting them to be on a webinar. But I think the singular highest paid activity that you could ever do is get somebody to a big event like San Antonio. That's where decisions are made, and so much of the business really is generating the desire sufficient to make a commitment and a decision to go forward. And I know when I went to an event, after seeing the product and then just seeing the people, the Niken family, I just inside I thought, this is something worthy of my all. This is something that I could give my life for. And if you're thinking, wow, that's coming a little bit far, you're really serious about this, aren't you? And well, yes. And no matter what you're doing, you're trading your life for it a day at a time. So it might as well be a good one. And Niken, that really is, in terms of the power to make a difference, the personal growth, the feeling of accomplishment, being able to bring a lot of people along with you, knowing that what you do really matters, because that's enforced by this whole world around you of people calling and saying thank you, and people coming up in tears and hugging you, often meeting somebody that's in agony, and you put some Niken on them, and minutes later, right before your eyes, there's just nothing like seeing the emotion of someone that's been in pain, and all of a sudden they're not, and you see that happen, and then they pay you to do all of this. Oh wow! Let's go get some more of it.
Let's go get some more. We don't want this recording to be too long, so maybe we should wind up. But like I said, Ruth and I can't imagine anything more enjoyable, more fun. And every time we get together with all these people, when I was in the car business, I was lucky to get out of town. But Niken has taken us all over the world, and everywhere we go, it's like a family reunion. And I know you feel the same way, Dave. Great friends are made in this business, and you never know where your influence will end. And it is so rewarding to hear the thank yous and get the hugs and see the results, and that you could never have touched. You're doing it by yourself. So it's the most perfect business in the world, and we just love it.
Yep, the width and depth of your friends. That's a good way to measure your life.
You bet. You bet.
Love you, Dennis. Thanks for sharing, and everyone have an awesome evening, and we'll see you in San Antonio.
San Antonio. Okay, great. Thank you, Dave. Bye-bye.